Hey everybody, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's after show for HBO's The Night Of. Tonight we are discussing part 7, Ordinary Death. Guys, you do not want to miss this discussion. It was crazy. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Oh my god. Oh my god. What did we just watch? What just happened?
I know.
My whole world is in disarray and chaos.
Am speechless and so very confused.
Oh my god.
What? Like, I'm sorry. They're giving us all of these little C's, and I'm like, where are you taking us, though?
Right. I don't know. It's gonna be fun tonight.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have so much to
Amazing.
discuss. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to our after show here for HBO's The Night Of. We are so excited to talk about this episode. We only have one left after this, and it's going to be so intense, so definitely stay tuned. I'm your host, Miaira Jennings. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings. And my panel here, ready to discuss with me, ladies.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique, and you can find me every week at Joelle Monique.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And I'm launching my blog, catslipstickla.com. So go to the website, and sign up for my email list.
Yeah,
please.
sign up, people.
Do that.
You have to add a picture of this cat on your...
Yeah.
Talk about this cat,
I
right?
gotta talk about this
You
specific
gotta talk
cat.
about this
God.
cat. Abby is not with us tonight, but we miss you, Abby. We'll see you next week for the finale. I know she's probably on her couch, like, screaming about this
I know,
episode.
right?
Or somewhere. But yeah, so let's get into it. We have so much to discuss, and I don't want to miss anything at all. And guys, if you're watching on YouTube, please interact on the live chat. We have it up, and we definitely want to bring up some of your theories. So
And you guys are coming in hot with them right now.
Woo, yes,
It's
I
live
bet.
there.
We're ready to jump in. So, talk about a start to this episode. There's a new homicide victim, possibly another
that no
victim
one's
of the
covering
same.
and no one's talking about.
And that's for a reason. This
Yeah.
is so connected to the case, and that's why I think Stone did it. I'm telling you, it's gonna be another prostitute.
She's steamed.
It was bloody. Why? Okay, here's the other thing. Why was the inhaler on the bed? Yes, Niles was on the bed, but perhaps the inhaler wasn't there. And then John Stone, because here's the thing. John Stone's eczema it's gonna come back with the cat. His asthma's acting up. Yeah. I'm telling you, these things have to be connected, and for it to not have anything to do with the case is a little...
Wait, are you saying that Stone placed the inhaler on the bed?
No. I'm saying he
The
could have
murder.
used it.
Like, okay, well, let's just rewind just for the to the body really quick.
So what?
I was wondering, okay, so you brought up the prostitute thing. I was kind of trying to see if that was the prostitute. I couldn't tell. It's kind of dark, so.
And that's
Yeah.
why they wouldn't have shown it. If it was a character we didn't know, I feel like it would have been more clear. So it makes me wonder if it is that woman that Stone was sleeping with.
The prostitute that we
Yeah.
saw. What do you think?
It's very possible, especially because things did not turn out well the last time they were together.
Yeah.
He had some erectile dysfunction. She blew him off at the bar when he was trying to pick her up, and she was like, I'm working. You cannot come in here right now. So I guess it's a possibility. I'm just personally not ready to believe. But
I'm ready.
All points do believe, like that would make sense in the small amount of information at the beginning of the episode that we got. I'm leaning other ways.
Also, I want to ask you guys a question that I think I already have. Did he call the cat Haley? Why did I hear him call the cat
Guys,
Haley?
please comment if you heard this.
Did you hear Haley?
We're really
or-
not sure.
Oh my god.
Did he name the cat? Was it a name it already had? Am I hearing things? Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, but we'll definitely keep our eyes on the chat just in case someone can back you up on that, Renee. But thank you for your observation just in case it is true. So yeah, I mean, that could be huge. There could be another suspect. I'm just wondering why he didn't bring it up in court. Maybe next episode. I don't know. But there could be someone still at large here.
Right, that's definitely like a final like linchpin sinker in there. Like, oh, and by the way, before you go consider your vote, and there's another victim while our guy's been in prison. So
Exactly.
maybe we'll get that like right at the very end, so the prosecution doesn't have any time to come up with a different angle.
Yeah,
don't
exactly. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because some of this stuff is kind of grouped together and I feel like we just have so much to talk about. It's going to be all mixed up. So next we see that Naz's dad talks to his friends or coworkers, whatever.
Worst friends on the history of the planet.
Right? They decide not to include him in their next taxi venture, which is kind of heartbreaking because it's really not his fault that all of this stuff has happened.
Dude, it's
yeah, what do you guys think?
And endless levels. Like, one, you guys want to screw him out of the money that he rightfully has. Like, I understand if you guys are like, look, you really put us in a bad spot. We don't want to go into business with you again.
Yeah.
But to, like, short the guy, like, $125,000, something crazy, astronomical, that just seems insane to me.
Yeah.
To follow that by then, you know, saying, like, look what your son did to us is really hateful to me. Like, even if dude killed this woman, like, he's not responsible for the actions then that others take. So for you to pin, you know, literally all the world's problem on this dude and his son, and the guy seemed shook up about it afterwards, like he seemed to have some introspective thoughts on, like, what he had just done to someone who was supposed to be a friend. But that really made me upset. How do you treat your friends that way? Even if you think your son is a killer, like, he's not his son.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. However, I thought that these guys were going to be more scary and threatening as opposed to just ripping him off in the end. And I am kind of happy. I'm not happy that they're ripping him off on so much money that he's missing out on. However, I was scared they were going to result to, like, violence and hurt him. And I'm happy that they turned out to just kind of, like, be dicks for friends.
They didn't seem violent to me, but they definitely seem like so just uncaring of the situation at all.
And I think that's actually, as much as it breaks my heart, it seems so realistic, because I think of so many cases that I watch and people discuss, and it's not very often that we see people sympathize or just, like, you know, feel bad for the families of these murderers or these suspects. We don't really care about them, or we think, oh, well, if all the evidence is stacked against this person, we don't really feel bad for the people affiliated with them. So I feel like it's understandable that they want to part ways with the dad and the family, but at the same time, it really sucks because they're already struggling. They're pawning their possessions. They're you know, delivering food and cleaning bathrooms and things of that nature just to try to afford, just keep going, just to survive. Yeah, so it's tough, and this you know, him being removed from the cab thing is definitely going to make it even harder. So it sucks, and I think that's why Nas is feeling bad, but I mean, what can he do at this point? His mom is definitely feeling like he's guilty. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah. Just that scene where she said an animal has done this, and then she asked, did I raise an animal? Yeah. That was, first of all, very heartbreaking. And then watching her just not even wanting to talk to her son at all, because she believes at this point that he's capable of something so violent, so awful. I would be scared too if he did it and that was my son. I would be like, who are you?
Yeah, well, and I definitely think that to me, I read the scenes as just she's been in such a low place, and there's nothing that he can give her to make it better. There's no way that he can undo this, even if he's not responsible directly. And I think that she just wants to separate herself from, especially like it called back to episode 1 where she found the porn magazines in his room, and she was like, how does he even have these, and why? And I don't understand this. And I think she's just feels so removed and separated from him. Obviously she's questioning whether he's a murderer, whether she 100% believes or not. I'm still on the fence about. I don't get that sense from her. I don't get the sense that she's just done with her son. I get the sense she's just exhausted and needs space.
Yeah,
but I guess we'll see next episode. I'm hoping that's the case. It's just so sad to see a mother just be like, just give up on her firstborn.
I mean, imagine sitting in that courtroom and seeing all those photos and listening to all the horrible things people are saying that your son potentially did. I don't know. It's hard for anyone to go through, so I get it. I don't know what else to say about that. I hope I never experience it, but I get it.
Yeah, me neither.
So Stone here continues his investigation into the stepdad's, you know, his motives and whatnot, which I'm so surprised, and I'm still waiting for him to bring it up. Has he even told Chandra about all of this stuff? I don't even know. But anywho, he's going about his business, following the stepdad and following up on leads he found out.
Going undercover.
Undercover, yes, he is. He is finding out, you know, he has this history with older women. He talks to one of his ex-wives, this older woman, who gives some good information because we find out that he does have a violent history. Do you guys think this will finally come into play next episode?
If it
I mean, what's the deal?
My brain will explode.
Yeah.
Because the fact that the stepdad was like, let me then counter follow you. I see you digging into my life, and then to physically threaten him. When it would be so much easier, maybe not even easier, but to be like, someone is stalking me. Well, you could easily call the police and be like, this man is stalking me. He's like going to my places of employment. He's asking my business associates about me. He's talking to my ex-wife. This is weird. It's creepy, and it needs to stop. But he didn't do that. He didn't go to the police. He decided to physically threaten violence and made sure that he knew, like, I could take you down if I needed to.
Horrible.
I'm still team stepdad / mom family.
I don't know. The stepdad weirds me out so much. But, okay, question. How did Andrea's mother die again?
Cancer?
Was it cancer? Okay.
I was suspicious about that.
Yeah, because he kills or tried to kill his ex wife that he was using for money. So it just, for me, it doesn't add up with him because she wasn't like, well, as far as we know, his romantic interest, it would have to do with money. And then it goes back to this was an act of passion.
Yeah.
An act of terrible passion.
Right.
But like it was 22 times. It's the same as her age. Who did this? I feel like, especially the way he went about this with Stone, it just seems like he's like a violent guy, but not one to, I feel like he would kill her in an easier way. I don't know.
Why start going to the court hearings, though? Like he said before, like he didn't recognize her in the pictures in the first time they showed them, and he was like, I don't know what this is about. Oh, well, maybe it could be her. And then when they asked him if she was a prostitute, he got kind of tripped up there. Then he said he didn't really care. He had to scuffle at the funeral with the guy who has the like financial funds.
Yeah.
And then he starts showing up to the trials. Like, it just, none of it makes sense to me. And it all points to like creepy serial killer. Like, yes, I would like to watch from the shadows if somebody else goes to jail for my crime. Like, yes, I would like to make sure that nobody else is following me around and will destroy anyone who comes close to me. Like, he's got a plan set up. He's in deep financial trouble. I don't know.
I would love for him to be a serial killer. I would love that, but I would love a serial killer on the loose. But for me, it wouldn't add up if he just like killed Andrea because of a financial reason. I want more. And here's the thing: we have to figure out what that more is in the next episode, which we better figure out.
Guys. That's we're
killed her next episode.
Keeping our fingers crossed for that. I don't know, with this new body now and the similar case, I don't know if he would if it's the stepdad.
That's why, and I hate, and so many questions I need answered for this, but that's why it's pointing towards Stone for me, just because why did this show introduce so many familiarities with the relations between Stone and then whatever this is going on in this case? The asthma, the inhaler, we have the young women that he hits on, the prostitutes that he sleeps with, his eczema, he's taking in this cat. So many things to me doesn't like add up for just being, oh, he's lonely. Like, I don't feel like the show would place it so just right in front of us, but kind of like we wouldn't think, why would it be Stone? So I feel like they're lining up all these like little seeds to hopefully then fully explain why it would be him. But my suspect right now is Stone,
if it was.
right?
Yeah.
I would definitely flip a lid.
Are you seeing it at all though, Joelle?
Okay, look, I see where it could be Stone, absolutely. But for me, a couple of key things make it not Stone. His first interactions with Nas in the prison, going all the way back to episode 1.
Right.
He calls him like doe eyes in there. And there's no way he could have done that. And he's in there helping another defendant. Like, did he stab someone and then run to the prison to help defend somebody? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Also, his obsession with the cat doesn't seem... to me, the whole symbolism of the cat is just Nas. Like, there's this person that he shouldn't necessarily be defending. It's cute and lovable, but he can't really touch it. He can't really help it. He's kind of keeping it imprisoned on his own. Like, you have to stay in there and be good in there. And all of the help he's able to give the cat is very kind of quick and dash and on the side. He's not a real provider for it. Like, he's not a real provider for his family. Like, he's not a real provider even in his own profession.
It's true.
And to me, all of those things add up to, like, he needs a win. And I don't think that as a murderer, your high is the killing, usually in these kinds of stories. So I don't get, like, him, like, being kind of sleuthy and detective-y. I don't understand why you would then defend someone who, like, why would you want someone to not go to jail for this? Because that's when a case is closed. So a lot of it just doesn't make sense to me. But I do see the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
And I guess I would totally be shocked and it would make sense, but... I don't know. We'd have to see to the... I'm not convinced yet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I agree too. It would be so weird for him to defend Nas if he killed the girl. But I don't know. It's just all of these little facts we're finding out about Stone that just gives me like an eerie feeling about him, because we don't know him that well. We get glimpses into his life, but we really don't know the guy. And I just think the stepdad... for me, at this point, is a little too easy. I need to know more details about it, especially when they introduced him as being so shady early on in the season, where more people were like about that. But perhaps the show isn't so much as a whodunit to be like for a shock, a twist, as much to just see what the
procedure and
the procedures, how the system works, and what happens when innocent people can go to prison. Yeah. I hope it's more of a whodunit, and we're all shocked.
That's what I'm keeping my fingers crossed for that, because that's what I am waiting for.
Right. And
from
HBO
this finale.
rarely lets us down in big finale moments. I just don't know what to expect. Like, I'd be surprised if the big turnaround was the
something
person.
completely
like,
different.
That's exactly what it was like. Something we haven't even
nothing to do with the case.
Oh my God, where did this come from?
I would be satisfied with that as well. As long as I'm shocked and I'm like on the floor out of my seat, I'll be happy. I don't even care.
Absolutely.
But at this point, I think I'm still gonna say no to Stone, but I would love if it is him. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't see it so far. So next, we're in court and we see Mrs. Weiss is questioning the friend from Facebook, Amir, and it does turn out to be that he got Adderall from Nas.
Which, Amir, don't do that to your friends in the future. Like, don't blast them on Facebook for selling you stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Hit them in the DMs. Slip them a Snapchat. Right? Disappear.
Who signed someone's wall like, thanks for the drugs?
Really appreciate it. You did this to yourself. Okay.
Yeah, like a text message. Anyways.
That's so true. I don't know, guys. Maybe he was trying to, I don't know. Whatever. I don't really know. People like public things, so.
That's true.
They just like that. I don't have any excuse for that. But yeah, we find out it was the Adderall, and some people thought it was the tutoring, and they wanted to think the best of Nas.
We were hopeful.
We're
like, guys,
they were really
like
the tutoring aspect.
They were wrong, so I'm sorry. You're just wrong about that.
And
does this change your perspective about Nas at all? The fact that he ripped off his friends and he was selling.
Okay,
ripped off is a strong word.
That's a drug dealer.
So he's just being a smart businessman.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, if you're selling at street cost, you know what I mean? And the friend didn't even look that upset. It's like, the pill is worth $10.
But that's what she was
it.
trying to do. She was trying to upset him. She's like, your friend's ripping you off, and he's a better business guy than you.
Who's learning more?
Yeah.
We want me to haggle over the drug prices? I don't have access to it. I needed to study. He had the thing.
Exactly.
This is supply and demand. I know business.
Show.
I just feel like I wanted him to snap out. Not appropriate place for him to do that, but I just kind of wish he would have been like, where are you even coming from?
Yeah, can you stop? With Nas also, I found it so weird the scene when he like smiled at him.
That's why I was still trying to.
Really?
Well, I couldn't decipher it. What is he doing that for?
I think he was trying to be like, don't say anything stupid, more stupid than you already did.
See, I got something totally different. Maybe because I just need Nas to be innocent.
Oh my gosh.
But I really do. In my soul, I really need him to be innocent. But I just got like, it's okay. Dude, like, whatever you say, like, don't get yourself in trouble. Like, just say it.
Well, it's hard to come across, have that come across in like a smile during such a serious.
Dude, I don't know. I was
trial.
really trying to read that smile too.
Yeah,
really.
Like, stop, Naz. Stop. People can see you.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you guys think of the smile? Let us know. We have the chat up. It'll take a while, but we'll definitely get to that. I don't know about the smile. For me, I don't think the selling Adderall thing is so huge for this case. I really think it's minuscule.
It's not. They're just using what they can use.
Exactly. So I'm not going to harp on that too much. But we see next the coach is questioned, and he's on the stand about the incidents as far as, Nas pushing a kid. We find out, Chandra gets a big bombshell in the fact that we see there was another kid that Nas harmed with a soda can, which is really not that big a deal.
Taken aback.
Oh, I felt bad for her in that moment because she'd been killing it in the game.
And then she heard she's like, there was a second kid.
But here's the thing.
Chandra.
So what else could Nas be lying about, and why did he lie about this? He didn't tell them, so.
Because they're trying to make him look guilty right now.
But shouldn't he tell his lawyers these things? I mean,
but
I just don't get it.
He's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Which we thought he was, but I guess I don't know whether he's not, whether it's just the fact that he is completely not experienced in any of this, or he's just so shut off and he's kind of tired of it. I don't know, guys, but I thought that was still, I like that Chandra brought up the whole 9/11 situation and the things that could have caused that, because it takes pressure off of the speculation that he's just violent and he just has this history, because there was a reason he did it. So I hope the jury takes that into consideration.
I think it'd be weird if they didn't. And even to me, like, if you guys have seen Lunchroom Brawls, which I'm sure we all have, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I saw plenty of Lunchroom Brawls. And it's pretty much just whatever is in your hand. Especially if somebody says something stupid. And again, as a kid, I can definitely see you just being like, just whipping a can, not understanding the amount of like force and pressure that might cause to somebody. And 12 stitches is a child's injury. Yeah. They have to staple up the side of his face. I don't know. I might be too hard Team Nas. Like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all linked to like a violent history and just like this rage. He's being bullied. Like, what do you expect? I'm not condoning it. Yeah. I'm just saying. I gotta put that in there.
I hear
But
you.
again, they're also kind of like the, I don't know the proper word to use for this, but like the easy ways to hurt someone, not stabbing someone, actively like pushing someone down the stairs. That takes one quick thought and then you did it. It's done. Throwing a can of soda, it's done. Stabbing someone once is not even like something it's done. You have to, that's a whole different ball game. So yeah, I don't see them intertwined at all. But I do think the show's giving us all this because they want us to question him more so as the season progresses.
I think so too. So at this point is where we see things start to fall apart for Detective Box, in my opinion, is when he takes the stand a second time. So Chandra questions him, and she definitely...
She knows what's up.
Yeah, she did not take it easy on this man, that's for sure. What did you guys think about that exchange? We find out, she questions him about why he didn't look into any other suspects. She questions him about Dwayne Reed. Not the stepdad so far. I was really hoping she'd bring that up, but whatever.
I know.
The stepdad, the inhaler. What did you guys think about that? Will it make a difference for the jury?
I think it has to make a difference for a jury. Specifically the fact that she's like, so you don't have to come back here. And then she called him back, and I was like, well, as a jury, you have to start to wonder, like, how much they missed a lot, and they didn't even explain, like, the whole hand cutting. I'm still surprised nobody mentions, like, his blood should not be on that knife. Yeah. Like, it was her blood, mostly. How did he cut his hand on the knife and not get blood on the knife? That makes no sense to me. I don't understand why that's not a topic that they're bringing up. But I think she did a great job. I think she rattled him, which is probably rare. He probably does this very consistently. You could see it. He was getting like really frustrated. Like, I don't know. I thought it was really good. Whether we don't know anything about the jury, which I also find really interesting because a lot of times in these cases we get like little snippets or like a lot of reactions. They barely cut back to the jury, so I don't know.
We cannot tell.
I have no idea how that information hit them.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that Chandra was a shark, and I was so into it the whole time. I was like, kill it, girl. She killed it. So many times this episode in the trial, she killed it. I'm so impressed by her. I have no words, but yeah, I love her. Hopefully it'll be enough to sway an entire jury.
I know. I don't know. I feel like because they're emphasizing the evidence so much, I think Chandra's doing such a good job, but I just hope the jury can open their eyes enough to see that there are other possible suspects.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys, beyond a reasonable doubt, do you think, if you were a jury member, where would you sit right now? With just the evidence that's been presented, without the stuff we know outside of, like, the court case, do you believe, with beyond a reasonable doubt, that Nas could have done it based on what we're seeing?
I would think Nas did it. I'm gonna be real. I would think Nas did it. He had the knife. He was at the scene. He had her blood on the knife that he was holding. He made a run for it twice from the scene and then trying to flee when they found the knife from him. Like, there's so many things that you'd be watching this and be like, well, of course he did it. Like, look at this. And of course he's gonna try to say he's innocent. No one wants to go to prison. But then again, the only thing that I think would sway me in another direction is if they brought in another suspect that would make more sense.
I agree.
I'm going to say I would think also he probably would be guilty until Dr. Katz takes
that was great. My new OG. I love Dr. Katz.
Dr. Katz is our new savior. So he takes the stand and just kills it. I mean,
murders it.
He definitely picked up on things that the prosecutor completely ignored. Made them look so bad in front of the jury, which I was like, yes.
Get it.
So there were other possible points of entry. They couldn't even see the kitchen where Nas was, so that's why he was still alive. I mean, they didn't even see him, which I believe maybe somebody brought that up earlier.
Yeah, they did.
Just so many things. What did you guys think about Dr. Katz over here? Because he killed it.
What I loved was that we didn't see, or at least I didn't see it coming at full force like that. When he was inspecting the house, like, okay, he's doing whatever, the procedure. This guy knows what he's doing, and I loved his whole, like, well, this is and this is and this is and all this is off, and he couldn't see him here. And, like, I loved it, and I had no idea that guy was gonna come in and be like, "This is what's up," and I was into it.
When he gets cross-examined, and she's like,
yes.
she's like, I
Flirting.
don't even know how like this could work. Didn't you say this? And he was like, yeah, I did, but you know, it would have been a bigger embarrassment if I just didn't show up, and I wasn't gonna do that to a colleague. And I was like, sir, you own this. Like, even at the end, and it was a pretty tough verbal battle back and forth, like a good battle of wits. He was still like kind of cocky. He's like, no, I did what I came to do. I nailed it. And just getting to see that evidence play out, although key piece of evidence missing, the blood outside. Did they test it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it someone
That
else's?
was
Was
not
it
brought
just
up
squirrel
again.
blood? Was
You're
it
so
inclusive so
right.
they didn't bring it up?
That's
So
interesting.
I don't know why that got left out, and that makes me a little nervous because if it's Nas blood, of course we leave it out. We don't need to bring it up.
Hopefully they do next week. For me, the biggest thing that we didn't see before that we found out tonight was the fact that there was another knife missing from the set. Of course, like, you know, Mrs. Weiss brought up, it could have been missing, could have been lost, blah, blah, blah.
Especially
But
with this girl.
I think that would even add to the speculation that it was a crime of passion or that the person was familiar with the apartment, with the home, because they would know where to get a knife, and they freaking took it with them. So I think that was huge.
I would love, and I mean love, to see that knife somewhere randomly without any explanation, just in a scene, so we know. That would
As a
that
nice
would
tip
do it
off
for
to the
me.
audience.
Right?
What's
my
the
gosh.
final
Oh
shot?
my
It's just
gosh.
the knife.
In Stone's apartment, he
What?
opens the drawer. I mean,
Okay, so I'm going to just say, if they don't tell us, which please do.
Please.
I would be satisfied if the final shot is like the knife, just to confirm that it wasn't Nas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would make me so happy.
Hopefully not, though, because I want to know.
I know.
But yeah, so that was a huge part. Dr. Katz did a great job for Nas's side. So he did, that was great. That's pretty much all we found out from him. Was there something else?
From Dr. Katz? I don't think so. They didn't bring up the blood, the other knife, the rusted door where he could get in. You could climb the tree to get in through the window.
The
if you
game they
needed
were
to.
playing.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
so happy he explained that game so
Me too,
casually.
about time.
Because I was so concerned. I'm like, just the way that beginning played out, and there was her blood on that knife, and we know why. Who the heck is gonna believe that they were playing a game like fake stabbing each other? I mean,
Exactly.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, I don't play that game with my friends. We watch Netflix and chill.
But seeing the old scars and then
Yeah.
describing why it would be easier for her to do it this way as opposed to face down. And again, props to Chandra for like poking all the holes in it.
She was
Right?
prepared.
And in such a
is so
casual,
great.
light way. Like, if anything, the jury has to like her, which should definitely help Nas.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
she's so personable and sweet and
Cute
calm.
and like I just like her. She's so likable. I don't know what. It's just her essence. I'm so.
Can we
But
talk
guys,
about what happens
Yes.
next? Why,
So speaking
Chandra?
of Chandra,
Can I just say,
yes,
though?
she is so likable. Yes,
Oh.
obviously too likable because Nas was
Guys,
interested in that.
I'm sorry.
Renee called it.
I so called that.
She
I
did.
just like to say.
We have to give Renee her credit. She called
did.
the
You
romance between
Oh
Nas
my
and Chandra. So we'll take a step back here and we'll talk about that because that was huge.
Oh my gosh! Why, Chandra?
Nas and Chandra kissed. What? Why? What were your reactions? I know your reactions, but tell the people what you think.
We were all thoroughly grossed out by it. Not because they don't make an adorable couple, because they really, really do.
Yeah, but
this is not the appropriate time. There is a camera recording you. This could debunk your entire case, not to mention your career, Chandra, which I know you've worked very hard for, and now your boss has kind of put you in a corner. Like, do this or die is kind of the essence we got from her.
Yeah.
I mean, and like at this point, I can't even blame Nas for what happened in there, because he's in prison and it's been months, and she's
She
pretty
also
and she's
leaned in
helping.
first.
She touched his hand. Stop it,
And then she
Chandra.
went like this. In case for you listening, I'm leaning in slowly.
Leaning in slowly with
She did
little
want
lip
the kid.
quiver.
Now here's the thing: what is attracting Chandra to him? Like, he's good looking. Again, we can say that, but
Okay,
he's
I
not a very
can speak
personable
for
person.
Chandra.
Okay, go for it.
He's emotionally unavailable, and she's someone she can't have him. Oh my
That's so
gosh, are you
true.
kidding me? Someone I'm so
Jesus.
close to but can't really have and touch and be with. Oh my God, sign me up. Nas, what's your number? What's your unavailable number? I'll call you.
It's true.
Like, yeah,
He found
girls
a
are
way
into
to
that.
call her when he was in prison, and it was her she called, and then he was like, he can't get hold of his mom, and she snapped on his mom. She was really pissed about it.
Oh, yeah.
She's falling for him, and like, look, I get it, girl, but this is not the appropriate time.
100% no, but she's like living and breathing this case right now. She just broke up with her boyfriend. She's a little bit vulnerable, and this
true.
is the only young man in her life. So it's either her or him or Stone. And like, who do you think she's gonna pick?
I mean, yes,
Oh my
but
gosh,
also
don't even.
bad decision making.
Oh,
bad.
Yeah, don't. Oh my gosh. And it just, when they showed, because we all called it while they were doing it, we're like, there has to be a camera in there. And lo and behold, there it was.
Yes.
And they're not going to do nothing with that. Like, that's going to kill her career. It's going to kill his case. How bad does that look?
It looks really bad. And I just have to say, so obviously, going back to last episode when Nas was on the phone with Chandra and there was that pause, we weren't sure. Obviously, I think we can sum up that it was something romantic, which I'm gonna be a petty for just a little bit right here.
Ooh.
Because I do go through the YouTube comments and I love you guys commenting and leaving your theories. We appreciate it so much. We try to bring them up. Somebody said the show was over our heads because we thought there would be romance between them. Well, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but I think we were right. So maybe, it's not over our heads. I just had to say that. I just had to be petty for a second.
like
I'm
it.
All
fine
right,
with it.
is that okay? All right,
I'm into it.
all right. So just gonna say, we all have our different opinions.
We're just
Some
saying
may
we
be
told
right,
you
some
so.
may be wrong. That's all. Thanks, Renee. I tried to put it nicely, but she got it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. We got our different interpretations, and it turns out we were right on this one. Moving on. Do you guys think the camera footage of this kiss? Yeah, I know.
Do I think it will come into play?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it has
There's no
to.
reason to show us
They wouldn't.
it unless again this is further like incompetence, because we've seen a lot of stuff kind of come into play and then not.
Yeah.
And at this point, I don't know if there's enough time to bring in all of those things.
I know.
So maybe not if they're real lucky, but also with the drama and all of the things we've seen.
Oh my
it would not
gosh.
surprise me. You just had a thought.
Okay, I have to, but you know what? I just realized I have to save this for predictions.
What?
Because
We're saving it for
I'm going to
predictions.
save it because
Okay,
I
we're
know
gonna come
I
back.
have season 2.
Write it
Okay,
down.
all right, okay. Oh,
Perfect.
snap.
So moving on. Wow. Okay, this is a really big deal. The inhaler, the whole inhaler thing.
Let's go.
Let's go on the inhaler because I feel like this is where our new theories maybe started formulating
Yes.
as
Yeah.
far as Box and
Yeah.
Stone. This inhaler, okay, so obviously the inhaler was taken from the crime scene wrongfully. Box, come on, how long have you been doing this? What possessed him to do? And not only that, he so willingly admitted it in court.
And he gave such a terrible excuse.
What is going on?
Right?
He gave such a terrible excuse.
I was helping him. He
Yeah.
was suffering.
He was shook up. But
Yeah,
you
he
didn't take
got
him to the
arrested.
hospital, which you know is procedure. So this is a really flimsy excuse from a guy who's really, really good at this job, as we've learned. He's got nothing else. This is what he does. He's retiring soon. Box is seeming more and more like a possibility to me. And I love you guys in the chat because it's heated in here.
Yes.
It's about a 50-50. Well, no, I'm going to say this. It's like a 25-25 split for Box and Stone. And then the rest of you guys have a wide array of really good predictions. Some people are saying it couldn't be Box. He woke up in his bed that night. But I don't know how hard that is to do. I don't know how hard it is to, especially if you're that skilled, to just go in there. Now, where does that crime of passion come from? I don't know, but we did hear today from the guy that we don't necessarily trust as a medical examiner, but he's done it for a while, and he said, I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
I've seen where sometimes you just get stabby, even if you don't really have any connection to the person, and sometimes crimes of passions are very quick.
Yeah.
Okay, the one thing about Box, I think he was so calm because some people are just like that, where they literally bottle everything up, which makes me, a little suspicious of him because they have to get out that anger or fear, whatever they're feeling, out somehow.
Right.
But like for sure he's sitting there like, oh my gosh, they figured it out, but has to remain calm because people just have those types of personalities. So I do think he was
Absolutely.
freaking out. But with the inhaler, here's the thing. We don't, and why all these theories are coming is because we have no idea why he took it. We can like predict all we want, but we have
Exactly.
no idea. And I think that reason is going to be tied to hopefully Stone, but someone that did it. He's maybe trying to cover up. I don't think he's killed her. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But it has to be. They have to be connected, right? Because why else would he take that just for no reason?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm trying to figure out Box. I've been trying to figure out Box since episode 1 because I cannot put my finger on him and his intentions. Obviously, he's known as being a really good detective. He has a great reputation. He's retiring. But on this case, even though we see doubt in his eyes, we see that he doubts Nas 100% being the murderer. And he just makes decisions like this to take evidence from a crime scene and to ignore all other leads. I mean, it just doesn't add up to me as a good detective. So what is his deal?
I feel conflicted because sometimes we do see him being a really good detective. Like, we'll just take it back to like episodes 1 and 2 when he's trying to coerce a confession out of him. I don't say coerce, that's illegal, but he's he's setting it up in a way that he knows he'll get a confession, and it seems like a really good way. I'm your friend. I'm by your side.
Right.
Here's your inhaler. Take a deep breath. Relax. But at the same time, I was really eked out during that whole time, and maybe it's just because I think it's wrong to kind of poke and prod at somebody you're not quite sure where they stand with this yet. But also, didn't it feel like you guys, he was like, okay, I really need you to confess now. I really need you to give me, and then that's his job though, but it felt
very like, please, let's wrap this up. Like,
right, exactly.
Last case,
like, so I can just nail it. Now, somebody in the comment section, I'm so sorry I don't have your name readily available, but said that Box was just, I totally lost my train of thought.
Oh, shoot.
They were just like, that Box is doing his job and that he's trying to set up crap. I cannot remember what you said.
Thinking.
I'll tell you, I think the reason, or what we're supposed to believe, and maybe this is just me, but I think he's trying to wrap up this case so quickly because he wants to retire and he's not even thinking about it, and he has all the evidence, and why does he care? Like, he's thinking nothing of this case, I don't think. So maybe he has his doubts, but it's like, I want to be done with this already. Like, he did, like, he had the knife. What are you talking about? So that's the vibe I get from Box, but just the inhaler doesn't add up for me at all. Yeah. It's so weird.
Okay, so they were saying that because he's retiring, he doesn't want to end on this note. But he set up himself to, like, have a great career. Yeah. It's good. And he just wanted to go out on a better note. And if he could just wrap this case up and not have to deal with the blood and the violence and go back to court and just be done with it, that was his goal. And I could totally see that being the thing. I don't know. Box gives me weird feelings. Somebody else mentioned that the clubs in the very last scene of the episode, he had all these golf clubs surrounding him, and that it gives a feeling of violence, like of these like readily available, and then comparing that scene to where Nas is and what he is doing. And that maybe they're trying to pull some parallels from that.
Oh, I thought it was just kind of him picturing his retirement, like, oh my gosh, I'm just gonna like be playing golf and doing this is my life now. Because I mean, golf clubs could be used violently, but I don't know. It would have made more sense for me if he got like a knife set and he's like, great, my next victim.
I don't know. I'm writing off Box for now. I think that's a great freaking theory.
Oh yeah, we have so many good theories
that would be awesome if it did turn out to be him. I'm not completely on board with Box. I just feel like he is not 100% into this case and he just wants it to be over. That's my thing with him, but I don't know, guys. We could be so wrong. So let's circle back to Nas and his prison life. Because the whole situation with the young inmate, older inmate came up again tonight. It was a tragic ending, but it definitely was relevant again. We see that, he ends up telling Freddie what was happening because the younger inmate committed suicide in prison because of what he was being forced to do. That was just so sad to see. And we were worried that someone was going to stab Nas with that glass, but it ended up being a suicide. What do you guys think about that whole situation? Because it led to Freddie murdering the other guy and Nas distracting or, being an accomplice, essentially. And I was just relieved that Nas wasn't the one to stab him. But what did you guys think?
That was definitely a fear as Nas was kind of taking off in front of Freddie. And I was like, is Freddie just here to supervise?
Yes.
Like, no!
Like,
we were so
on,
close.
Young one.
Right, exactly.
Get it.
Obviously very tragic that young man decided to kill himself. But also a sign of what prison will do to you. Like, I mean, especially when he has to use his mother. And then to go back real quick to the conversation that Nas was having with the mother, where she was like, I'm just so worried about him. He's like, yeah, okay, I can't give you any more information. I have to swallow these things you're about to take out of yourself. It's very gross.
Yeah, those scenes, I don't like them.
They're very gritty. But then I was kind of, like, to me, Freddie just assumed a lot on just the look, and I'm wondering if this is something he had thought of before, or if this is the way to solidify himself as kind of top dog, alpha omega kind of thing that he seems to want with Nas. We'll take out my other dudes. It's just the two of us now.
Oh, dear.
I don't know.
Okay, can we also talk about the fact that Nas is getting, like, too good at swallowing drugs, and he's definitely done it more than the 2 times we've seen it happen? And
I would hope not.
I'm so sick of that. Can that stop? Nas, can you stop being a drug mule, please?
I hope so.
It's so disturbing. Oh, my gosh.
Well, this Well, I was just thinking the whole time, this is the moment where he's going to get caught.
Oh, yeah. We're
but
like
he
sitting
still
there with the
wasn't
guard.
caught. He still wasn't caught. Are we still waiting for him to get caught, or is he just not going to get caught?
I think eventually he'll probably get caught. But not
I
next
don't
episode.
think so. I don't think so. Like, why? I mean, it was fast. If you can't necessarily see. I mean, I don't know. He did it with like a toothbrush and a razor. He pretty much tapped him and walked away. Like, it wasn't like a long kind of thrown out thing. It didn't seem like he got any blood on him. Maybe they'll bring it up next episode at the beginning, but maybe not. It really wouldn't surprise me if it was just like, well, there's another dead prisoner in a wrap.
Oh, no, I mean Nas.
The drugs.
Being a drug mule.
Oh!
Either one. Is
I
he
think
going to get... Well, because my
Maybe.
biggest fear this whole time has been, even if he is found innocent, or if he is innocent of Andrea's murder, he's going to get mixed up in some other horrible crime
that would
in
just
prison.
be the worst.
And it's going to happen.
that would bring me down so low, guys, if he goes away
That's
for
where my
another
head
crime.
is headed right now.
Oh,
I just feel like
damn.
he's in store for something really bad, because Freddie, he's embracing this life. He's embracing it. And Freddie is definitely
But is he
provoking
embracing
him.
it, or is he surviving it?
I
mean,
just
the
feel like...
tattoos are the one thing that concerns me, because they're
And the drugs,
so
right?
permanent.
Like, don't they
Bad
do drug...
sin.
Do they not do drug tests? I'm so confused. Because he's just sitting there chilling, doing drugs every night, and I'm like... Do they not test these guys, or do
I
they
don't
just
think so.
assume...
Drug tests are expensive,
Okay.
and unless you're on probation, where they'll just lock you up again, you're not supposed to have drugs inside.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I understand why he takes them, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, I believe last episode or 2 episodes we thought it said rad, and
Oh, yeah.
it says bad, which is so much worse.
It's not rad at all,
She put
right?
his hand over sin, and then he put his hand over hers, and then it said
Bad.
bad sin. Why, Nas? Why? You're not going to be... Well, you might be in prison forever,
Yeah.
but let's hope you're not. And once you get out on the street, that's not as acceptable.
Exactly. Not to mention, I've been wondering why they haven't questioned him about those tattoos yet. Do they just not notice, or are we just
I
supposed
wonder
to
at this
assume that
point,
they
what's
did?
the point of talking about it? Like, it's so permanent, and
Yeah.
just... I hope somebody talks.
Yeah.
It would be really great if she could be like, so let's have a discussion about these tattoos. And why
Exactly.
did you feel the need to do that to yourself when you're in trial? But okay.
Or they
Exactly.
just get it because he's in such like a bad
place.
prison and has to survive, and they understand that slowly they're turning him into a criminal by
Exactly.
keeping him there.
That's true. Now, one person that we didn't see, and he was brought up in court, but we didn't see more of him, was the hearse driver, Mr. Day. We definitely were thinking he could have been a suspect, but I feel like he would have been brought up a little bit more in this episode if we were correct about that. What do you guys think?
I feel like the only reason Chandra didn't bring up Mr. Day
Yeah.
or the stepfather is because they were not witnesses of the crime at all. Like everyone that she brought up was there, and even or just not mentioned that they were there, but they were there. Like the neighbor, Trevor, Dwayne Reed.
Exactly.
They were all there. So for her to, and they'll say like speculation, because for her to bring up like a random person,
That's
they'd
true,
be like,
though.
okay, yeah. So there's the hearse driver, Mr. Day. So he's a psycho. Doesn't mean he killed her.
Right, and that's not even proven. It's just
Yeah.
you had a weird interaction with him.
He
and
could
so what am I
totally
gonna
be
do
the
with
serial
that?
killer, though. I will say.
Yeah, I think I was suspicious, but I wrote him off after I saw that he wasn't brought up this week, because I feel like
Really?
because I feel like if they would have looked at the footage and they found out that he like was at the house later or something, that would have. I mean, I don't know if they would
Well, she
be
did
able
say
to
that
see
they
that.
had a bad interaction
Yeah.
with him, and I can't imagine that at some point that wasn't brought up in a little more detail of like,
Yeah.
and then this is what actually did happen that night, and maybe we just didn't see it, and it
Yeah.
would waste time to kind of
Just
rehash
not-
in court. But I feel like bringing him up definitely brings like, look at all these people that you miss and our potential like interactions, you know, that could have led to death. So I felt they included it enough for this episode.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see if they bring him back
Next
fully.
week?
I don't want him out. He creeps me out. I'm fine if we
He's
never
so
see him
shady.
again.
I love
Oh,
it. I love
man.
his creepy vibes. Not you
I
know,
love it.
I
not
got you.
personally, but I love it for the show. And the other person I was kind of expecting to see eventually is Dwayne Reed. We've been talking about him a lot. And that brings up another big, huge deal that a lot of you have been commenting about, and that we did discuss the end of 2 episodes ago, where Stone was chasing him, and then we just have nothing after that. Is that significant, or
Makes
were we
me-
just supposed to assume that it was just nothing?
I will be so upset if we don't go back to that. Like,
It's
did you
huge,
just
right?
chase him into an alley and he disappeared?
Guys, Stone, that wasn't explained. Stone has asthma. Stone's keeping her cat. Stone sleeps with prostitutes.
Another asthma has anything to do with him.
The inhaler.
Because it's so weird to me. Yes, the inhaler, but it's so weird to me that they. Okay, I did read the writer puts asthma in all of his films and shows. But to make two characters both have asthma, and I get like Stone's going through a lot, but then the inhaler being there, we know Stone uses an inhaler, and they brought it up this episode. Why do they keep bringing up the similarities between the characters?
But I don't know if it's not. But if it's not Stone's inhaler, and just the fact that he has asthma, like I just don't get where the correlation is.
He has asthma, and she has a cat, and he would need it when he would be with her. So,
but we know but we don't ever see him use his inhaler, like really, and he didn't
because
use it
he doesn't have a cat. But now that he has a cat, he needs to go somewhere for his asthma.
Right.
So if he was with the cat, with her, started acting up, he would use an inhaler if there was an inhaler sitting there because Naz had the inhaler with him.
So you think he used the inhaler at the crime scene?
And that would connect for me Box and Stone, because if they have each other's backs in some way, maybe Box took it, got rid of some stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just trying to think of ideas because honestly, I have no idea.
Thanks, crowd.
For our live studio audience, thank you so much. But I'm just trying to connect the dots, and it's so hard with this show because there's so many possibilities. But for Stone to take the inhaler, and then for them to also, for Box to take the inhaler, and then for Stone to have asthma on top of everything else, and we see it acting up with the cat, it honestly, like, why?
Okay.
Why?
Well, on that note, let's get into predictions. Let's see what we think.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Who wants to go first, ladies? Joelle?
Sure, I'll go first. I predict that Nas didn't do it, like I've been saying from the beginning. I also predicted that Kiss is gonna come back with huge ramifications. I can't picture a world where that either just emotionally for the two characters or in a court case kind of thing where just the prosecutor just pulls it up and is like, nope, new trial, and maybe we're just left with like, we don't know, it's a crazy court system. That's where I'm at with this show. I don't feel comfortable predicting anything.
Right, we could be so very wrong.
Oh, I know.
Renee?
Okay, so I agree with you, but I think Nas is totally going to be guilty in the next episode. I think he's going to be in prison for life, as far as we know. However, what's going to reopen the case for a season 2 is going to be that dead body we saw in the beginning of this episode. I think it's going to have some similarities between the body that we saw. I think she's going to be stabbed the number of times of her, same as her age. And then I think that the next season is going to be them trying to prove that that was the same serial killer or whomever that did it to try to get Nas out of prison. And guys, again, the Stone thing, I don't know. I'd have to really sit down, rewatch it to put it all together.
Yeah.
But there's just so many things that make me question, and I know it sounds so like crazy because I think it sounds crazy. But like, why else would they be putting these things in here?
It definitely would be a good twist. I honestly think every single a possibility would be amazing as long as they tell us.
Oh, I know. Please.
Who did it? That's all I hope for, is that they actually tell us the truth. Right now, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna hope that they give us Nas's full flashbacks next week. That would be nice, right? They've been teasing us a little bit over the weeks, and I think that would be cool if we maybe ended up just on his memory.
Yeah, it's really strange that the one thing that did make me go, oh, Nas knows, when he's thinking about the chick that was murdered. And her body is the first thing we see. Not him kissing her, but her body.
Little creepy.
Then him kissing her, and then back to her body while he's kissing Chandra. So that made me a little uncomfortable.
That's a very interesting connection.
Please be innocent, Nas.
I know, right? The other thing, I'm hoping we see Dwayne Reed again, at least if he takes the stand or if he gives his account of what happened that night. Maybe he witnessed someone going in. I don't know. I don't care. We need to see him again because what happened after Stone was chasing him, right? And then the last thing, I think it would be so cool if Freddie is somehow connected to this, somehow connected to the stepdad. I don't know, because I don't want to write the stepdad out. I think he's somehow involved. Guys, there's so many people, but please let us know what your predictions are. As usual, we'll try to bring them up. We didn't really have time to do too many this week, but we definitely got some of you in the chat, so thank you. We'll do that again next week. Let us know on Twitter, Instagram, everything. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We only have one episode left, so keep the conversation going so we can talk about our speculations. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miaira Jennings, and my book review series, Plot Twisted, youtube.com/Miaira Jennings TV.
And you guys can find me everywhere at Joelle Monique on the internet. Check me this week at blackgirlnerds.com for my interview with John Legend and my review of Southside with you.
Woo. Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel. And make sure you go to my new blog that's coming up, catslipstickla.com, and then put in your email, and I'll let you know when it's launched.
All right, killing it, ladies. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week for the finale.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.